Chapter 25. A Cat's Life. I'm sick of playing ambassador, pretending the colony is an oasis. Unless you're the Major or one of his buddies, this place sucks. Anyone who's spent an hour here knows it. Kitty, things could be worse, much worse. You know what pisses me off when you call me that, Corsair? I'm going to kick your ass one day. He roared with laughter. His face broke out in a giant smile once he got control of his emotions. That would be the day my little sister beat me up. You can't beat me at anything. Little sister, huh? You only 10 minutes older than me. 10 minutes, 10 years. What's the difference? My life experiences go beyond yours. He handed her the coffee pot, inhaling the scent of fresh brewed Colombian beans. The vibrant colors of the ripened fruit along with the smell of the fresh baked goods filled the tray Corsair carried. At least they shared some decent food during these boondoggles, unlike the normal breakfast served here. She eyed the pastries with a grumbling stomach, knowing she wouldn't eat any of them. One day the power would come on and civilization would return, along with her modeling career. Kat had made a career of posing for all the local department stores' Sunday sales ads, waiting for the call from a major agency. Try to be nice this time, Kat. Ulysses says that Sue is important for the future. Something to do with her work before the attack. Even if we don't understand why, we need to honor his wishes. I don't understand why you worship that man. He's the reason we're under the Major's thumb. You'd be free if it wasn't for him. He saved my life, and I owe him everything. You know that, but you keep bringing this up. Besides, Ulysses had to take the role with the CIA when they came calling. They didn't give him a choice. My stupidity and complacency kept me working with the Major. At least we're both still alive. We could be out there on our own. Alive? But at what cost? We'd be better on our own. She stomped away from him, letting her anger simmer. Kat should appreciate her position in the camp while others shoveled shit or dug in the dirt all day. Most of the attractive women spent their time on their backs servicing the Major's men, something she'd never had to do, being Corsair's sister. A man had attempted to rape her their first week in camp. Corsair broke his neck before beating his two buddies senseless. The Major disciplined the two living men in a fake show of concern for her safety, but the two scumbags still walked free, glaring at her every time they walked by. If anything ever happened to her brother, her life would end. They may not kill her, but her existence would become unbearable. When they first met Sue, Kat recognized the twinkle in Corsair's eye. He was smitten with her at first sight. Kat didn't understand what her brother saw in such a plain, common woman. Corsair was as handsome as she was beautiful, and he deserved better than Sue. The tour of the colony passed in a blur. Kat did everything in her power to step between them, push them apart before they came together. Sue seemed clueless to Corsair's interest in her. If the Major did the bitch in, life would be better for everyone. If Kat didn't hate the Major so much herself, she'd find an excuse to turn Sue in. Get Sue and Ulysses out of their life in one shot. Corsair paused with his hand hovering over the doorknob after closing Sue inside her room. Kat could read her twin's mind, so she twisted the knob, locking the door. She didn't need Corsair doing anything else stupid. He had already promised Ulysses too much. Let's get out of here. Corsair glared at her before turning toward the exit, stomping away from her. He behaved like a lovesick child. She jogged, trying to keep up with him. His long legs pumped, keeping him in front of her. Kat wished she had concentrated on her aerobic fitness. Corsair! Wait! Kat's heart pounded as she raced after her twin. She didn't know if he ran away or if he ran towards something. Corsair sprinted down a dangerous path, all because Ulysses came back into his life. The Major provided a safe place for them to live, even if he was evil. A quasi-peace with both the New World Order and the remnants of the old U.S. government. What more could they ask for? Sure, this life sucked, being a slave to the Major, but they remained safe, protected behind his walls. Ulysses would disrupt the peace, getting them all killed before abandoning them again. That was his way. He slipped into the shadows, down a dark alley. outside the view of the armed men and their cameras. Corsair knew this camp inside and out. Anger twisted his handsome face as he spun toward her. "What's the matter with you, Cat? The world doesn't revolve around you. Some things are more important than your comfort. We need to follow Ulysses' lead. Take this country back." "How can you be so loyal to him after what he did?" "Stop! You know he saved my life, along with several others. He couldn't help. He's the reason the Major has his hooks in you. Oh, excuse me, he was the Colonel then, wasn't he? If Ulysses had testified, he would be serving time in Leavenworth, instead of continuing to commit war crimes." Her heart raced, gasping for breath. The memory of his treachery worked her up. Corsair hung his head, breaking eye contact. She only knew the parts of the story he had told her, but she suspected there had been more to tell. They rehashed this argument at least once a week since the attack. Cat tired of fighting with him, but she needed someone to blame for their circumstances. She'd use Corsair for a punching bag rather than accept any responsibility herself. Of course she hadn't served with them, so complacency made up her sins. Cling to the safety of the colony, even if it proved to be only an illusion. He shook his head, turning away from her. His shoulders slumped as he shuffled toward their quarters. Part of her wanted to head the other way, leaving her brother to his pain, but she feared being outside of their apartment after curfew. She'd lose any favor she gained from being Corsair's sister if she broke the rules. Kat scanned the grounds between herself and their room before taking a step, finding the way clear. She eased out of the alley toward the suite, knowing it would feel claustrophobic, sharing the space with her twin and his never-ending rage. Accept no blame for his anger. She entered the main room, preparing to apologize, finding it empty. The bathroom door was open, revealing another empty room. His bedroom door shut tight, telling her to stay out. Each meager bedroom held a twin bed and not much else because of their size. Their entire post-apocalyptic apartment occupied the same space as a one-car garage. Luxury compared to the rooms for the riffraff. Her eyes drifted to the camera in the ceiling of the main room. Even Corsair couldn't escape surveillance. The only one they knew of in the suite, giving credence to her theory that the bedrooms had been storage closets in a former life. Kat poured herself a glass of water before heading into her own bedroom. She'd give her twin some space and time to rest. Then they'd execute Ulysses' plan at midnight, even if she doubted the wisdom of it. She knew how to play along to get along. Before the lights went out for the night, Kat drifted off to sleep. Dreams eluded her in her deep slumber. If she had any, they turned to nightmares anyway. Better to empty the mind and not think. A loud crash jolted her awake. She leapt out of bed, running toward the noise. Her eyes registered only shadows as they tried to adjust to the limited light filtering in from the hallway. Corsair fought with 4 soldiers. He knocked one unconscious before another jammed a cattle prod into his ribs. She heard the arcing of the improvised weapon as she ran to his aid. Together, they'd fight them off. An unseen guard crashed the butt of his assault rifle into her skull as she took her 3rd step toward Corsair's prone body. Pain radiated through her skull, continuing down her spine. A bright flash filled her vision before everything turned black.